Maths Masterclass with Leo. Let me teach you a bit of math.
Okay?
In this channel, we'll be dealing with learners who are in grade 10, grade 11 and grade 12. We'll be dealing with learners who are below average, average and above average. Actually, when we talk about learners who are below average, we're talking about from level 1 to level 3 learners. Average, we're talking about level 3 to level 4. And then above average, we're talking about level 5 to level 7. We'll also be dealing with learners who want to rewrite maths. They've been struggling with maths. And then we'll be dealing with ways to answer questions, how to attempt questions, how to actually pass maths. And then we'll be dealing with question papers, paper 1 and paper 2. You know those simple chapters in paper 1 when we talk about the average learners or below average learners. You know those questions. And then when we talk about paper 2, you know those questions, you know those chapters, statistics and so forth and so on. Good morning. Welcome back to it. It's Maths Masterclass with Leo. Today we'll be doing exponents and surds. Continuation of the video that we did, the previous video. If you can go and check episode 2, it was exponents and surds, solving for x. In this case, we are still solving the equation. I'll just take 2 questions from just random sources, and then actually what I want to do today is just the theory part of paper 1, which is not all the paper 1, but today we're doing algebra, theory part of algebra actually, to be precise. And then after that I'll just do a few question papers. I have 2020 question paper, I have 2021 question paper, which is preliminary, what do you call the trial, right? Okay, let's get to it without any waste of time. I have a simple equation that says 3x minus 5 minus x equals to negative 5. They say solve x or solve the equation, right? How am I going to solve this? In most cases, not in most cases, always when you have something like this, make sure you are left with a surd on your left hand side. Make sure you are left with a surd on your left hand side. How am I going to do that? Just transpose this to the other side. I'm going to be left with my surd, which is 3x minus 5, or the square root of 3x minus 5, which is equals to minus 5 plus x. Then I can just rewrite this and say minus 5. This is equals to x minus 5, or x minus 5, right? Then introduce squares to remove the surd, or to remove the square root. Then I'm going to be left with 3x minus 5. This is going to be, okay, x minus 5, 3x minus 5 equals to this, and this is going to be x squared. This and this is minus 5x. This and this is minus 5x. This and this is plus 25, right? And then I'm going to have 3, okay, let me just do this, x squared minus this and that are like terms, will give me 10x. Take this to the other side, it's minus 3x plus 25. This is positive, when it's negative, when it comes here it's going to be positive, all equals to 0. Then I'm going to have x squared minus this and that like terms, 13x, plus this and that like terms, 30 equals to 0. Then simple mathematics. This is equals to 0, x, right? Okay, I need factors. I know when I multiply 10 and 3 will give me 30. I know when I say 10 plus 3 will give me 13. But if you're not sure how to use factorization, just use your quadratic formula. If you're not sure how to use this, just take your quadratic formula. You will never go wrong with a quadratic formula. You will never go wrong, right? Okay, let's do one more question from, this is exponents. I have a question that says x to the power 3 over 2 equals to 8. I'm given such a question. How can I attempt such a question? How can I do such a question? Okay, but if I have something like this, remember, I can just do this. Oh, Jesus, what did I do? I can just say I have 3 over 2 and then multiply by the reciprocal, 2 over 3, which will give me 8. What I do on my left hand side, I must do on my right hand side, 2 over 3. This and this cancels, this and that cancel. Then I'm gonna have, this is gonna be x is equals to, I can just change this to 2 to the power 3 multiplied by 2 over 3, right? 3 and 3 will cancel. I'm gonna have x is equals to, x is equals to, this 3 and this 3 will cancel. Remember, this can be written in exponential form. Your 8 can be written in exponential form. When I say 2 to the power 3, it will just give me 8, right? Then I'm left with 2 to the power 2. This will just give me 4, right? I hope you understand. I hope everything is clear. Now, let's go back. Let's go to the theory of algebra. Let's go to the theory of algebra. If you have a question, please leave it on your comment section and then we'll address it. Okay, now we will be doing the theory part of math, not all math. Okay, specifically now we are dealing with what you call algebra. Let me just rephrase from saying math. Let me just say theory of algebra. Now we're doing theory of algebra, and then things you need to know on your algebra. Things you need to know on your algebra, you need to know this. This is very important in your algebra. This is very important in your algebra, right? You need to know how to use this. You need to know how to use this, right? And then you need to know what you call b squared minus 4ac discriminant. What does this mean? You need to know what does this mean. You need to know what does this mean, right? In this case, it means we have your, in this case it's real roots, real but not equal, right? Real but not equal, right? In this case, you won't be doing this. You'll be dealing with this too. In this one, you'll be dealing with it in what you call in university. It's what you call imaginary numbers, right? Okay, and then in this case, that's where you have real or perfect square. This is where you find your perfect square, and they are also equal in this one, right? You need to know that there's two, and then you also need to know those things that we did. You need to know those things that we did. Okay, you need to know, oh, okay, I almost forgot. You need to know this. This is supposed to be plus, this is supposed to be minus. Then you also need to know, very important, inequalities, right? Inequalities, we talk about this, that, and that. Okay, those, ne? This is what you call a greater than. This is what you call a less than. This is what you call greater or equal to. This is what you call less or equal to. Right? Okay, now let's take one question that need us to do one of these rules. We won't take this one because we did most of them. We did many questions that require you to use that. We did questions from what you call exponents. we did simplifying exponents, we did solving exponents. So today we won't take that. We'll just check this one and that one. Right? And then what am I gonna have? A simple question just to apply one of the rules. Okay, I have x squared minus 3x minus 4. This is equals to 0. They say, okay, solve for x. This is basically solving for x. Solve for x. Right? Solve for x. Then, how can I do that? How can I solve for x there? It's very simple, this one. You can just use your quadratic formula, or you can use the factorizing method. Factorizing method, I'm gonna have x minus this is 4x, okay, plus 1. This will just give me 0. Then x minus 4 equals to 0, or x plus 1 equals to 0. Then x is equals to 4, x is equals to minus 1. Let's just prove that. Just need to prove it. Okay, I have okay, it's 4 squared minus 3 into 4 minus 4, 0. Correct. And then the next one, just add 1. Okay, it's not 1, but it's negative 1, negative 1, 0. Clean, very clean. Right? And then let's just take another question that says solve for x. What are we given? We're given x squared minus 4. This is solve for x. This is what you call difference of two squares. This is what you call difference of two squares. This, you won't be doing such things. And why did I bring it up? There are some students that call this sum of two squares. There's no such thing as sum of two squares. There is no such thing as sum of two squares, good people. Right? Okay, now I have something like that. They say solve for x. What am I gonna have? X. Okay, I made a mistake. This is supposed to be equals to 0 because you are solving. When you're solving, should be an equation, not an expression. You cannot solve an expression, but you can simplify an expression. Minus 2, x minus 2. Okay, one should be plus, one should be minus, equals to 0. X is equals to, okay, x is equals to 2, or x is equals to minus 2. There we go. That is your answer. Now let's do one that requires us to use the quadratic formula. Let me check one that requires us to use the quadratic formula. Okay, we are given that, we are given that. They say solve for x, right? Or given such a question, you have no idea what to do, use the quadratic formula. Quadratic formula, you'll never go wrong. In this case, if you can check, I wrote the standard equation for a quadratic, right? The standard equation for a quadratic. In this case, if I compare what is the value of a, my a equals to 2, my b equals to negative 3, my c equals to negative 4, right? Then just go to it and say x is equals to minus into, because I have a negative, then my b has a negative of its own, it's negative 3 plus minus square root of b squared minus 4. Okay, not b squared. Let me just substitute that. Just say what is the value of b? It's minus 3 squared minus 4 into, what is a? I think is 2. And then what is c? What is c? It's negative 4. There. Then divide by 2 into 2. Right? Then I have negative and negative will just give me positive, plus minus the square root of. This is just going to give me 9. Okay. This is minus Okay, 4 times 2, 4 times 4 is 16, 16, then this is 32, I believe. Should be plus. Say 4 multiplied by 4 multiplied by 2, this is 32. Okay, divide by 4. One mistake that students do is to say, okay, most students will just say, I have x is equals to minus into minus 3 plus minus square root of minus 3 squared minus then this will be negative. Once it's negative, this is wrong. This is how you should apply it, right? This is very wrong. Once you have a negative, actually just learn to say, when I substitute it, I'm just gonna put brackets. Be it I have a negative or I have a positive, I'm just gonna put this brackets, right? So this is very wrong. This will give you a wrong answer. This will give you a very wrong answer. Now let's continue. I have that this is 3 plus or minus the square root of 9 plus that, I believe it's gonna be 41 over 4, right? Then 3 plus square root of 41 over 4, or 3x is equals to 3 minus square root of 41 whole over 4. There's the value of x. You can just write it in your decimals. I'm just gonna leave it here. Okay, let me just write it in my decimals. I'm gonna have, okay, this is gonna be 3 plus square root of 41 divided by 4. It's gonna be where is my answer? 2.35. 2.35. Then this is the first value of x. The second value, change this to negative. Then this is gonna be 0.85. X is equals to negative 0.85. There. Then let's take another question that requires us to use the quadratic equation. What do we have? We have 2 2x squared minus 4, this is equals to 0. Solve for x. First thing that I need to do, okay, let me try to make this, or okay, let me not confuse you, just use the quadratic formula. But what I wanted to do is just to say 2 into x squared minus this is gonna be 2, this will give me 0. This is x squared minus 2, then use the quadratic equation here. But it's similar to me saying, okay, the value of a is equals to, in this case I have 2, the value of b is equals to 0, the value of c is equals to negative 4, right? Then use the quadratic equation equals to minus b plus minus square root of, okay, this is gonna be b squared minus 4ac all over 2 into a. Then this, I'm gonna have 0 plus minus square root of 0 squared minus 4 into, okay, this I'm gonna have what is that? I have the value of a is 2, the value of c is minus 4 all over 2 into 2. This will just give me the square root of this, I believe is gonna be 32. Square root of 32, not forgetting my plus or minus, over 4. Then this will just give me plus, okay, plus square root of 32 divided by 4. X is equals to, okay, supposed to be there, x is equals to that. Then x is equals to minus square root of 32 over 4. This will just give me x is equals to, okay, square root of 32 divided by 4. This is square root of 2, which is just 1.41. Then, okay, a negative 1 now, it's just going to be the opposite of that, which will just be negative 1.41. Right there. We did 2 questions from that, and then let's just do 1 from or 2 from inequalities. I'll explain the inequalities. I'll try to take a bit confusing one. Okay, I'll take simple ones and then take a difficult one, just to explain, just to show you what we need to do when solving inequalities. Okay, I got a question that says solve for x. This is solve for x. Jesus, solve for x. I have x squared minus 3x is greater than 0. They say solve for x. Inequalities. Okay. What can I do here? Simple thing that I can do is just take the common factor, or say from the get-go critical values. You can just write it as CV, critical values. What are my critical values? I'm going to have x squared minus 3x equals to 0. Critical values, the word critical values helps me to change what you call this inequality sign into an equal sign. It helps me to change this into an equal sign. Then after doing that, I'm just going to say x into x minus 3, this is equals to 0. Then x is equals to 0, or x is equals to, okay, let me just say x minus 3 equals to 0, then x is equals to 3. Right? This x is equals to that, and this bracket is equals to that. You've been doing this since grade 9. I believe you understand them. Right? Okay, now when I'm here, a bigger number takes the original inequality sign. A bigger number takes the original inequality sign. Let me just write that down so that you guys don't forget. A bigger number takes, how do I write my takes? The original inequality sign. Right, in this case, what is my original inequality sign? This is my original inequality sign. This is my original inequality sign. Right, so my bigger value should take that. My bigger value should take that. What is my bigger value? My bigger value is this. If my bigger value takes the original inequality sign, the second value, or the other value of x, will just get the opposite inequality sign. So I'm just going to have x is less than 0. Right? X is less than 0. Why? Because my 0 is small. Ne? It is the smallest amongst the two. Right? Or x is greater than, it's greater than, what is it? It's greater than 3. Right? There. Now, that is my equation. Now, very important, this thing, it has a mark. If you don't draw it, good people, you're gonna lose a mark. Drawing the graph of the inequality sign. Even if you are not told to draw the graph, please draw it. Even if you are not told to draw the graph, please draw it, because there's a mark for that. I'm gonna have this. Okay, this is my number line. This is my number line. Let me just take from negative 2, 1, negative 1, 0, 1, 2, and 3. Ne? Make sure your number line is up to scale. Don't just say, this is my number line, I have 0, then I have 56. Come on. Make it a scale there. Right? I cannot say, okay, this is my number line, I have 0, and then I'm jumping to 3. Make sure your number line, it has values, right? That is my number line. Okay, it says here, that should be, where should it be? It should be at 0 and 3. But if you can check, this is greater than 0, meaning it's still going, it's actually going up, right? It's going up. Numbers greater than 0, we have 4, we have 5, we have 6, 7, and 8, up to infinity. It will be going this side, up to infinity, right? This is 3. 3 will be going, greater than 3 will be going that side up to infinity. And then here it says less than 0, right? My less than 0 will be going that side up to infinity, right? Why do I have my circles open? Why do I have my circles open? My circles are open because the only way to have my circles closed is when I have something like this. That is where you're going to have a closed circle like that. What does that closed circle mean? It simply means my answer starts at that particular number. Example, let me say I have my x is greater or equal to 3, and then my x is less than equal to 0, right? It's just an example. It's just an example, good people. Let me say I have something like that. When I'm going to draw my number line is going to be something like that. -2, -1, 0, 1, 2, and 3, right? That is my number line. But it's going to be like this. Here, I'm going to have a closed circle. Closed circle. That symbolizes or it shows that my answers will start at 3. I mean at 0, which is this one. And then this side will start at 3, going that side. Then you tend to shade just to show that your graph it's moving outwards. You can just shade here and just shade here, just to show that your graph is moving outwards. Okay, let me just let me just do the last question. Hello, okay, I'm back. Right, we are given something like this. They say solve for x, right? This is part of solve for x actually. Then solve for x, I'm given something like this. They say solve for x. What am I gonna do? I'm just gonna say, okay, but I can just remove this so that I'm left with a positive value of a. I'll just remove this so that I have a positive value of a, and then I'm gonna say x squared, okay, divided by -1, divided by -1, divided by -1. I'm gonna have x squared minus 3x, which is less than, okay, now very important, you divide by a negative sign. You divide by a negative sign, your inequality sign will change. You divide by a negative sign, inequality will change to be the opposite of what you had, right? Then I'm having something like this now. Then I'm going to have x squared minus 3x. Take this to the other side, minus 4. This is greater or equal to 0, right? And then after that, I'm just going to say, okay, I can solve this and say, without saying the critical values, I'm just going to say this is x minus 4, x, which one is plus 1, this is greater or equal to 0, and then you can just say x is greater, x minus 4 is greater or equal to 4, or x plus 1 is greater or equal to, is greater or equal to 0. Then I'm gonna have x, this is gonna be, okay, this is gonna be positive 4, this is gonna be negative. This will just take the original inequality sign, which is this one. The original now is this one, which is gonna be x greater than 4, or x to -1. Just draw the graph quick. 1, 2, 3, 4. My graph will just be something of that nature. Okay.